The lecture series to start is Structural Organization in Animals. Now in this particular lesson, we will be learning about the tissue system, tissues in animals, the organization, the types of tissues. Basically, focus will be on the different types of tissues, their structure as well as their function. So let us start with the series. In the first lecture, we will learn about the introduction on tissues as also its different types, and we will focus mainly on one type of tissue, and in the subsequent lectures we will learn about the other types. Now, tissues. What are tissues? Tissues are groups of cells similar in structure and function. Now, we have already learned about cells in my previous videos. If the students want to learn more about cells, you can refer to my previous videos where we have talked about cells. We have discussed about cells. Now, group of cells which are similar in structure and function. The word here similar is of significance. The cells which are quite similar in structure as well as their function. That means they work collectively. They work collectively to perform a particular work, a particular function. So that is called as tissues. Now, tissues are found both in plants and animals, but here we will talk only on animals. Now, now animal tissues. What are the different types of animal tissues? Animal tissues are mainly categorized into four types: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, and muscular tissue and neural tissue. So there are mainly four types of animal tissues. These are based on the location as well as the type of function. Epithelial tissues are mainly concerned with covering of internal external organs, lining layers. Connective tissue, as the term suggests, it connects different parts, different organs, different tissues even, they connect. That is connective tissue. Muscular tissue, which makes up the muscles in our body. Neural tissue, mainly concerned with the nerves, the neurons, the brain tissue. So all these are included under neural tissue. So all these tissues again they get interconnected, and thereby the complete metabolic activities of an animal is carried out. Now let us see through a flow chart the types of tissues again. The animal tissues, as already mentioned, these are of the four types: epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous. Now furthermore they can be classified. Epithelial tissue, as I've already mentioned, they are mainly the covering tissue layers. So epithelial tissue again can be divided into two types, subdivided rather. Epithelial covering tissue, that means the types which will mainly form the covering layers of the body. Some will be glandular tissue. That means they do not form a complete covering, but they aggregate together to form a compact structure which will release certain chemicals. Certain secretions will be ejected out from that particular small, what we say, a knob-like structure. Those will be glandular tissue. They are actually part of epithelial tissues. Now, covering epithelial tissue again can be simple and compound. Compound is made up of many layers. Simple is made up of a single layer. We will learn in details about it in the next slides. Now, connective tissue also is made up of different types. Okay, they are made up of different types: blood, bone, cartilage, then your ligaments, tendons, all are included under connective tissue. Muscular tissue, three types: striated, smooth and cardiac. Nervous tissue, mainly the neurons and the glial cells. So we will see all of these types. In this particular first lecture, we will focus on epithelial tissue because it covers its subcategories are higher in number. To start with, again, the human body tissues, so that you get a clear picture of the types again. So here epithelial tissue, as I was mentioning, they form mainly the covering layers. So here these are the epithelial tissues. Then you have the muscular tissue. This is cardiac muscle, smooth muscles. Smooth muscular tissue is found in the internal organs. Cardiac muscles are found in the heart. Nervous tissue found in the brain. Connective tissue, they are found in this blood. Skeletal muscle, okay, muscular tissues. Then the connective tissue, mainly the blood, the bones, this forms the connective tissues. Then again furthermore, just to give the diagrammatic representation, you can see the cellular structures. In all the four types, the cellular structure differs. Epithelial, you can see here, the cells are without any intercellular spaces. They are very compactly arranged cells. Whereas the connective tissue, you can see the ends are pointed, and connective tissue, they are actually made up of two components. The cells are always submerged in a sort of matrix, in a medium. Muscular tissue, again they are in the form of a fiber structure. They are found. The nervous tissue, the structure is completely different, with like pointed ends, some branches emerging out of the cells. So these are the different types of tissues, the structures. Now first we will go to epithelial tissue. What is epithelial tissue? Epithelial tissues are those tissues which forms the covering or lining layer of the body. Covering or lining layer of the body, and they are made up of some very compactly packed cells. The cells, they are arranged end to end without any space in between. Divided into two types, simple and compound. So here you can see these are the simple epithelial tissues, and this is the compound epithelial tissue. Compound epithelial tissue, which is made up of many layers. Simple, single layer. So here first, compound epithelium, two or more cell layers. Function, protective, and where do you find? You find it in your skin. The skin of your body is made up of compound epithelium. They are made up of these type of cells, but 2-3 layers, two or many layers. Function, obviously, as you all know, skin protects our body against infection, against heat, cold. Then simple epithelium, it's made up of single layer of cells, only one layer. They are found in the internal organs, the covering layer of the internal organs, lining of internal parts of the body. Again, on the basis of the structural modification, they can be divided into some different types. So let us see the types of simple epithelium. Now compound epithelium, they are not divided into any further types. It's only one. Now glandular epithelium. Okay, we will first go to the glandular epithelium. This is a type of epithelial tissue where it's the glands. The glands are formed in this type of tissue. It's a type of epithelium tissue, glandular epithelium. Now here you can see in the glandular epithelium, this is the lining layer. Okay, this is the lining layer of the tissue. Here they form a sort of what do you say, a loop like structure, the simple duct structure. Okay, so this is simple intestinal glands. So this is the layer and which projects into the organs or into the muscle layers, and thereby they form a sort of globular structure through which there will be release of secretions, release of compounds, chemicals. So here simple duct structure, these are simple, okay, and compound duct structure where they are multicellular. They are made up of many cells here. They are branched, highly branched, whereas the simple ones, they are not branched. Then again, glandular epithelial tissues again can be exocrine and endocrine. They are exocrine when they secrete through ducts into the surface of the gland. Okay, they are connected with ducts. Okay, that means they are connected with tube like structures, whereas endocrine are those which are not connected with any ducts, any channels, any tubes, whatever they release, it will flow directly into the bloodstream. That is called as endocrine, the hormones. Hormones are released by endocrine glands. Exocrine glands mainly release enzymes. Okay, they mainly release enzymes and other secretions into our body. Then now we will come to the types of simple epithelial tissue. Squamous epithelium. Okay, this is the first type of epithelial tissue. This is made up of flattened cells. Now, depending upon the shape of cells, they have been categorized. They are made up of flat cells, okay, walls of blood vessels. They will be found in the walls of blood vessels, air sacs of lungs, and diffusion boundary. Wherever diffusion is required, there you will find this epithelial, squamous epithelium. They are made up of flat cells. Then you have the cuboidal epithelium, which are made up of cube-like cells. Okay, they're made up of cube-like cells. Ducts of glands, nephrons, secretion and absorption is the main function. Columnar epithelium, from the term you can make up, they are made up of tall, slender shaped cells. They are found in the stomach lining, intestine. Their main function is to secrete and absorb. Ciliated epithelium, they are when the cuboidal and columnar epithelium contains cilia. Okay, they contain cilia, hair-like projections, then we will call it as ciliated epithelium. They are found in the bronchioles of the lungs, in the fallopian tubes of the female reproductive system, and they help in movement of particles in a specific direction. Like in the bronchioles, they will help in movement of air, and the fallopian tubes, they will help in movement of the gametes. Then the glandular tissue, as I already mentioned, okay, they are specialized for secretion. So unicellular, isolated glands, goblet cells of the stomach. Then multicellular, cluster of cells, salivary glands, as I've already shown you. There are two types, exocrine, endocrine, released through ducts, and endocrine, released into the body fluids. Now here we have the picture for it now. So here you can see simple squamous epithelium. Simple squamous epithelium, this is the one. They're made up of flat cells, as you can see here, and they are found in the air sacs of lungs as also in the blood vessels. Then you have the cuboidal epithelium. So here simple cuboidal epithelium. They are found in the nephrons. Nephrons, that is the functional unit of kidneys. So they are found in the kidneys. They form the nephrons of the kidneys. So here you can see these are cube-like in shape. Single layer, cube-like in shape. Columnar epithelium, they are found in the small intestine, stomach. They help in mainly secretion, absorption. Okay, you can see here they are tall, slender cells. Single layer, but the cells, each individual cell, they are tall and slender. Then this is pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Now here pseudo-stratified, pseudo means false. Stratified means many layered. Now here we are talking about a ciliated epithelium. Here what I've written. Now ciliated epithelium, they are made up of cilia. Okay, you will find in the respiratory tract. Then stratified epithelium, squamous epithelium, that is the which are many layers. Okay, two or more layers, which you find in the skin, as also some are found in the esophagus of our digestive system. So these are the different types of simple epithelial tissues. So as you can make out, so epithelium means cells without any intercellular spaces, compactly arranged. Main function, covering layers, lining layers. Two types basically, many layered or single layered. So the many layered ones, they will be found in the mainly in the skin, protective layers. Single layered will be in the you will find mainly in the internal parts of the body. Now again, furthermore, we have to know about the epithelia cell junctions. Now epithelia cell junctions, now what are these? That is when the two cells or the adjacent cells. So to say, adjacent cells, how are they interconnected? Okay, how are they interconnected with each other? So those interconnected regions, which we call as junctions, where things meet, that is known as junctions. So three types of junctions are found in epithelial tissues. As I already mentioned, epithelial tissue is without any intercellular space. So they are very tightly attached to each other. So here we have the tight junction. Tight junction will mean the region, the part where two cells, adjacent cells, they are very compactly, very tightly pressed against each other. They limit passage of molecules and ions to the space between the here there will be no passage of any substances. Then again, second type of junction is adhering junction. Now what is adhering junction? Adhering junctions are those which provide strong adhesion between cells. Okay, they form adhesion. Okay, adhesion, that means again they form strong adhesion. Even here passage is very limited, but some passage might occur. These here you can see they are very compact. Here a sort of globular structure is formed, a round structure is formed. They are attached, but a sort of tubule or sort of globule vesicle is formed. That is known as desmosome. Then gap junction. Now again some regions will be there where they're attached but a small gap will be present, which will allow passage of ions and small molecules, because there has to be exchange of substances between the cells. So the cells which make up epithelial tissue, okay, the cells which make up epithelial tissue, they will be attached to each other with the help of these three types of junctions: tight junction, adhering junction, and gap junction. So this is about the epithelial tissues, where we learned about the types, the simple squamous, we had the cuboidal epithelium. We learned about the columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, compound epithelial tissue. In the next lecture, I will talk about the connective tissues, muscular tissues, and nervous tissues.